No, that's just it. Okay. I've made a lot of realizations these past couple of months, which have been extremely exhausting. I'm tired. Maybe one day I can explain, what I've been putting myself through these past couple of years. I feel like I've had a hard time trying to figure out how to approach this video. God willing, this will be done, in a couple of months, but I just think I need to sit on it for a while before sharing it with the world. Okay, good morning, y'all. I'm very excited to finally start this. What's crazy is I literally basically just woke up. Not really. I've been up for a minute, but my morning has been kind of slow. And just now, as I was preparing to, head to campus, I finally felt it upon me that it is time to get this video started. I just feel like I've been letting fear and just my idea of perfection, like I'm such a perfectionist for the most part, so I want everything to be perfect. I wanted this video to be perfect. I want it to be ready when I'm ready, but I don't think I'll ever be ready, because I just have so much to talk about with my community and those that want to learn more and are open to accepting the experiences of my communities. So initially, I guess, before I was honestly practicing what I would say in a video when, the time is right. But then I realized, maybe right now the time is right, because stuff was just coming out and I was like, oh, this is good stuff. So I want to record this. So basically what I was talking about was, I just want to start off with my experience with anxiety, which, fun fact, if you're in a constant state of anxiety, it's gonna turn to depression. That's why they're often paired together. It's not that, you were genetically, what's it called? You don't necessarily have to have the trait of depression, I guess. Like, if you're a very anxious person and you can't get out of this cycle of anxiety, it will most likely turn into depression. So that was me. Long story short, I'm definitely, like, people that I grew up with, they know that I've always been like happy and stuff. I guess on the outside, so the way that my anxiety showed up was definitely just, like I always say, when I talk about my anxiety specifically, I always say, I've been acting like I've been spazzing or I've been tweaking. That's what I always say, when really it's just I'm just very jittery, and like if I'm unsure of a situation, it just freaks me out. So that's how my anxiety showed up. Moving forward, especially growing up Adventist, Seventh-day Adventist, shout out my religion or whatever. Growing up Seventh-day Adventist, Haitian, and Black American in predominantly white spaces. Like, how do your identities not clash? My identities clash so much, I remember specifically like times when I was younger and I used to go to a private Adventist school. But I remember when I went to the public high school or the public elementary school over here, I remember distinct times where I would be like, oh, I'm Haitian, because I am Haitian, like, regardless of my nationality. Like, culturally growing up, I am Haitian. And it is different from Black American. It is, like, duh. Not saying, that I want it to be different so bad, but it's just facts. It's different culturally. And I would say I'm Haitian. People would be like, no, you're Black. Like, what do you mean? Like, of course I'm gonna acknowledge the fact that I look Black, but growing up, what is instilled in me? I am Haitian, I am Caribbean. Like, it's a difference. So that's what I remember. And of course, being in predominantly white spaces, I have noticed that you don't get an identity if you're Black. It doesn't matter your ethnicity, you just don't really get a chance to play on your identity, because you're just Black. And not saying just Black, but white culture is stripping Black people of their culture, in my opinion. But I say all of that to say these are all the identities that I was struggling with, because I was just like, okay, where do I fit in this world that I was put into? I'm so grateful to my parents for placing me here in, you know, the city that I'm in Ohio. Placing me here did give me many opportunities, but I think what a lot of like foreign parents don't understand is like, the kids also need their roots above all, because if we don't know who we are, honey, regardless of the opportunities that are surrounding us, it does not matter if I am having conflict within myself. So that's what I fell into. Growing up, you know, my main identity was being nice, being happy, which isn't really one, but I was definitely I had one emotion, not healthy. I rarely showed my anger, to be honest. I didn't know I wasn't emotionally mature at all. I'm still working on that, actually. I thought I was emotionally mature, but turns out I'm really not, because I only know how to express like one or two emotions. My other emotions, I go mute, I isolate myself, or I hold it all in. So, you know, I isolate myself, which is unhealthy, extremely unhealthy. I can't stress that enough. It's unhealthy, period. That is my coping mechanism, is isolating myself. Yes. So moving forward, because I feel like I'm rambling, moving forward, like I was saying about these identities, that's how my anxiety showed up. And regardless of all the blessings that I have, I will never disregard all the blessings that I have. I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed. You know, I have a home. I have parents that care for me. I have parents that try. But I feel there are certain integral things in a child's upbringing that was lacking in my upbringing. And that is fair for me to acknowledge. I'm not blaming my parents. They did the best they could. Like, constantly, I think, like, my parents literally left their home country to come to America. And my dad worked so hard. I'm about to hype my dad up right now, because my dad he worked so hard. He came here, didn't know that much English, of course. You know the story. My guy, like, worked nights, went to school, got his bachelor's, proved so many people wrong, and still supported my family. There are 4 of us, 4 and my mom, like, continuously supports us. It blows my mind, because I don't know how, like, first generation Americans, like, I know, like, around this time of our life, we're just like, how did you even manage? Like, the utmost respect for my family, like, the utmost. Like, I could cry. That's another thing. I don't cry often. Very unhealthy. I'm trying to learn how to. But the utmost respect to my family, just had to give that shout out, because though these subjects are hard, like, you know, I could have been in worse situations. But playing on that, also, I do want to mention that I hate how us as a Black community, African, Caribbean, American, us as a Black community, we're constantly like, it could be worse. Sure, it could be worse, but it could be a whole lot better, okay? Like, we've come from so much, and we are very blessed to be where we are, but we are not living. We are still surviving. And that does not give us the space, the room to really grow to be what we are supposed to be, what you know, God, love, universe, whatever, you know, you want to refer to, the higher power. Or if you don't believe in a higher power, whatever you feel like your purpose, you can't fulfill your purpose when you're just surviving. Therefore, you know, obviously this is not our fault. Y'all know the story, but y'all really don't know the story. That's the whole gag, is because we think we know the story based off of the terrible education system that we have here, history-wise. You know, I'm still in school right now, so I gotta simmer down a bit. But constantly hearing about just, you know, throwing out slavery and Martin Luther King Jr., feeding that to Black kids in America, and that's all we see? What do you mean? Like, long story short, like, just thinking about it grinds my gears, because like, for real, like, how do we expect to fulfill our purpose when that's all we see ourselves being? It doesn't make sense. And whew. Anyway, moving forward, because I'm getting distracted. moving forward, I just want us to live. I want us to live. And I'm making this video specifically because I recently have been partaking in something that the Black community as a whole is always like, I don't know about that.